Hi, I'm Rob from Skid Steer Genius. I'm here to answer that age-old question. How can I get a Bobcat grader simply and easily to run on practically any machine? We've been working on all different types of harnesses and control systems. What I'm going to show you today is a wireless controller on a Bobcat 84-inch grader. So let's first of all start talking about the controls that are on this Bobcat grader. So what they use is a 7-pin CAN bus. Some people call it low voltage, but that's not true. You will see low voltage if you put a meter across the output from the machine, but that's not actually what you're seeing. You're seeing a digital signal coming down, and it's going up here into this box. Inside this box is a CAN bus controller, and what that CAN bus controller does is it takes the signals from your Bobcat only machine, it turns them into active controls down at the solenoids, and allows you to control the different functions. What my job is to teach you how to bypass all of that. We've done that in other videos where we've used harnesses, but this time we're going to use one of our wireless controllers. So the first thing we're going to do is we're not going to use this 7-pin. So there's usually on these blades, there's a little spot that we can lock it in. We're going to leave all of our controls in place. So if you see here, here's even the laser controllers. Right here, they would plug in here. In this case, since we're using wireless with 6 functions, we don't actually have enough functions to do laser. Contact us through the website if you want to do that. We have another alternative to be able to run lasers. The next thing I do down here is there's 6 solenoids. There's 3 stacks of 2. So we've got left, right on the blade. We've got left side up, left side down. We've got right side up, right side down. And those are the 6 controls that we're going to use. What I do is I mark on the connectors as I disconnect everything. And on the solenoids, I mark a corresponding number. And what that number is just so that I can put it back in place if I want to run it on a Bobcat directly. But in this case, we're going to put our wireless controller on. And we will then be able to just put it on any kind of machine. It doesn't matter what it's going on as long as it's some type of a skid steer or compact loader. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my wireless controller. This is our WACT 6 controller. It gives you 6 outputs in pairs here. You see how they come out of the controller. I'm just going to mount it right here. And I'm doing this just so you can easily see what I'm doing. Ideally, you want to mount it in underneath just so it's protected. This is IP67 rated. So it's completely waterproof. The battery packs are IP65, so they are water resistant. You just want to watch how you mount them so you don't have water going actually into the opening where the connector goes in. I'll show you that next. But what we have here is, here's our power connection coming in. Here's our 6 outputs. So from there, in this case, I'm using Delphi connectors coming from Deutsch. So I've got these adapters that I'm going to install here. I'm going to put them into here and they'll just come wrap around this side. Okay, then I've got, optionally in the kit, here's my power connection, and I can actually run that back to my battery. It's got a fuse already built into it. I can have it here, and I can run it out to my boom here, and I can power my wireless controller directly. Or what I can do is use this battery pack, and for this demonstration, I'm going to use my battery pack. So I'll just show you that. It comes in this really nice little kit. Inside the kit is my battery pack, my harness, and then all my different charge cords. I've got 2 different types of charge cords for charging it. I've got a connector for my cigarette lighter, and I've got a connection to go into my house adapters. Here's the power for it. All I do is open up the top here, plug it in. Okay, this is what I want to do. Since this is open when I'm using it, I just want to have it always facing downward. This is completely watertight up top here, but I do have the cover off, so I just want to protect that. From here, take my battery connection. Now this is actually powered up right now. You can see the LEDs coming on. I've got manual override here, so I can actually run my controls on the outside. I can use it on my phone app, or the next thing that comes in your kit is this handy dandy little fob. What this fob does is it gives me my 6 buttons that I can put inside my machine. It mounts on magnets, so I can permanently install this. It comes with a little pigtail, so I can permanently install this. It even has a backlight on it that I can install so that when it's plugged in, these LEDs are lit. I've got locking toggle switches on here. I'm going to post another video that shows you how to turn them into non, but I don't suggest doing that because in some cases you may not be using it just for this application. You may be using it for other applications. You may be able to you might want to lock the power on. So this is good. If you want momentary, you can use the phone app. The phone app actually allows you to jump back and forth. You can set it to momentary, you can set the controls to latching. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna wire this up and you guys can watch me do that, then we'll get going. Okay, so you see here I put numbers on here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what this does is it corresponds to my controls on my watt controller. What I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna install my extensions and my adapters. Okay, there's my 6 adapters. I'm going to plug that into my controller. Cycle 1. Okay. Now since the battery pack's plugged in, I can quickly test this. There's actually manual buttons here. If you listen quite carefully, you might be able to hear the solenoids. I can hear the solenoids as I push it. Okay, so that means everything's up and running. Now I'm going to set the app up for this demonstration. I'm going to use the phone app, and then I'll jump over and I'll use the fob and show you how that works as well. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the fob set up. It's got a little backup battery in the back of it here. So all I want to do is open it up. It comes with the batteries, so that's all good. It's not like Christmas where you get a bunch of toys and then you've got no batteries, so you can't run anything. Don't lose this O-ring. Okay, this is working. It already comes matched from the factory. If you do have a problem, there are instructions online and in your instruction manual that will show you how to map this to the controller. So if you do lose it or run over it or anything happens, you can buy replacement fobs and you're up and going. Or if you do lose it, of course, you can use the phone app. So there's several ways you can install this. Because it is on magnets, you can install the mount somewhere and then you can literally just pop this off. You can use it as a hand controller, or you can buy other mounts. You can put it in other places, so you can take it from machine to machine. The choice is up to you. But in this case, just for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to throw a tie wrap through it, and I'll put it right here on my armrest. Again, this is for demonstration purposes, so don't go blowing up my YouTube channel and doing something idiotic. So now here you go. I've got controls actually on my armrest for my grater. And then I'm also going to use my phone, so I'll install it right here. So now I can run it from my while I'm running my controls of my machine. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to set the app up now. So we've downloaded the app. It's a WAC 6 controller. We want to connect the controller. It's looking for it. The 6-digit or the 4-digit code is just 0000. Confirm. And since we're only using one controller, we just go 000, 0000, confirm. Okay, now it's connected. It's actually running outside in my machine while I'm doing this. There's my 6 controls. Here's a little bit of information. I've actually gone through, and you can put tags on every one of these. So I've actually labeled what each function does. I can go into the back here. So here's my edit, so I can actually edit the names. I can set the switch function. So if I want to have it as a toggle where it turns on and off, and so when I touch it, it'll stay on, I can set it to toggle. But for running a grader, what I want to do is I want to run momentary. So we're going to make them all momentary. Okay. I can set backlight color. There's instructions in here. So the full manual is here on how to set everything up. And then if I get another controller and I want to forget this one, I just do forget, and then it'll allow me to go through the setup again. But now here it is. It's all installed and we're ready to go. Okay, so let's go. That's using my phone. This is using the button controller. So I have 2 ways of controlling this. Now let's get to work. So while we're talking about electronics, let's also talk about hydraulics. Bobcat sets up all of their attachments backwards to practically everybody in the marketplace. What that means is your standard flow is in reverse to how you're used to your standard flow going if you have a non-Bobcat machine. So you need to be aware of that. On an attachment like this, it doesn't really matter as long as your controls will lock in the reverse direction. But I'm just gonna let you see what the difference is so you know that when you hook it up, when you put it in your forward direction on your standard machine, it's going to not work properly. Everything goes funky. You may get the controls to work, but it'll be really strange. So it's always best just to swap the couplers over at the end of the hoses. Just put the male where the female is, female where the male is, and you're off and running, and now it's set up to run on your machine perfectly. But I actually haven't done it on this machine. I can run this in reverse. It's not a big deal. I just hit the opposite button. And I also have Bobcats here, so it doesn't really matter. I'm running back and forth. I just know I can do that. So I'm just going to show you what happens when it is running in reverse. You're going to hear that noise. The blade's going to run. That's good to work, but it's backwards. It's actually working, but it's backwards. So look what's happening. Okay, that's backwards. Forward. See how quiet it is? And now my controllers are working in the right direction. Okay, and that goes for all attachments. So anytime you buy an attachment that was on a Bobcat, you always want to make sure the first thing you do is swap those couplers. So now I'm going to get up and start doing some grading, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my machine. I'm going to turn on my auxiliary hydraulics, turn them on in the forward direction, and lock them on. They have to be locked on. This is an open center block, so oil is going to go out of the machine, go through the block, and go back, and it's not performing any work until I hit the controls. Once I hit the controls, one of the solenoids is going to select inside that valve, and it's going to redirect the oil to one of the different cylinders that are on this blade. If I do not have this locked on in the forward direction, nothing's going to happen. So make sure that's the very first thing that you do. On. Unlock my machine. Turn auxiliaries on. Lock them. Now the oil is flowing through the block. Now I can touch each control and everything works. Now let's get to work. So this is just one of the many applications that you can run the Wax 6 controller on. It's ideal for this type of application because a lot of customers don't even have enough controls in their machines. So this thing just works beautifully for that. I can install it in about 10-15 minutes and I'm up and going. And I use my battery pack so I don't have to have any type of connection to the machine. Battery packs will last for 2 or 3 days, so we're good to go there. Again, I can use my phone app, or I can also use my button pack, which is really helpful in this type of application. I think you're really going to love this, and come see us at Skid Steer Genius, and we've got all types of different solutions for running these types of blades.